Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport.
Beautiful, beautiful evening. I gotta get a truck pulled in. So one of these trucks has got some major work that needs to be done to it. Can you guess which one?
And this truck has been sitting outside here for a couple days, and the temperature right now is around 20 couple degrees. So let's see what a cold start looks like. So this truck's gonna come in the shop, and I just want to go over a little bit what we're going to be doing to this truck. It is more than just the cab. Well, let's get inside. First off, though, I'm gonna let that truck warm up a little bit. But I got a bay in there. We're gonna pull that truck in, and Trevor is gonna go over it with me. All right, actually, Trevor is gonna pull it in. Truck 138 backing in. Man, I tell you, it's so nice to have a big shop like this.
Got a nice open bay here for him. I'll tell you, it's cold out there. I'm gonna grab the door over here. Engine's out. Needs cleaned up a little bit. So if you guys aren't sure what this one is, this is the engine that we pulled out of one of those Sterling trucks that was in the last video. If you haven't seen that, check it out.
Truck is in the shop. I'm here with Trevor. And the reason I got this truck in here is we got to talk about this truck. We got a lot of work potentially that needs to be done to this rig. And as I explained in one of the other videos, I talked about this cab and sleeper that we're going to be taking off. So if you can see the corrosion in here, this cab and bunk is already coming off. But one of the bigger things that we found something much bigger since then that we have a little problem with. So I'll let Trevor go into detail on that.
All right. So this truck has our original setup air ride, something 5 years ago now. I think we put our first air ride on this truck. And this is set up with 2 electrical valve solenoids that go side to side, and we have a gauge in there that tells us how much is on each side. After bean season last year, well, unfortunately we don't do beans anymore, but we noticed that it was taking more pressure on the driver's side, about 15 pounds more pressure to get it to ride even to go down the road. And we thought, you know what, we probably got a bag that's stretched or worn out or something like that. So we got that replaced. Still the same deal. We went through the springs, made sure the springs weren't broke. Nothing that we could find in there. And so we finally said there's got to be something with the frame. So we went through the whole frame. None of the bolts were broke. None of the cross members were cracked that we could find. So I put it up to a shop up towards the city, and they called me back and they said that we have one frame rail that is bent and twisted. They said it looks like the truck had at some point went in the ditch, possibly with a loaded trailer, and bent the passenger side rail. So I asked them, I said, how can you bend the passenger side rail and not bend the driver's side rail? He said, well, the bottom is tweaked out along the C of the rail. I said, okay, well, bean season, those guys get in all sorts of different places. They get pulled out with tractors, the dump cart tractors. Somewhere along the line, that frame rail got compromised. So it has a 5-year paint job on the back end of it. And I think with everything that we're doing with it, Justin and I figured we'll try some new frame rails. Everybody's been telling us we ought to do some new frame rails with all the work that we do with some of these trucks. And
Yeah, so this truck, so when I heard about the whole twisted frame thing, I was like, that's kind of frustrating. But this truck is one that we had sent down to Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. What was it, 4 years ago?
I think it's about 4 years
ago. 4 or 5 years ago, we had painted the frame and got everything painted, got everything looking really good. And you can see what New York salt does to this stuff up here. So it's starting to show it's rusted a little bit again, but it would still be good for a couple more years easily.
Yeah.
But one of the big things is that we already are going to be taking the cab and the bunk off.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, everything's going to get stripped down to the frame pretty much anyways.
Yeah. So now, I mean, replacing frame rails is a lot of work, but if you already have the cab off and the hood and all that, it's not as much work.
Right. It's pretty much just jacking everything up, getting it held in place, and sliding one out. There's a place we'll send it up in, I believe it's Vermont. PJ Adams is where I've had, actually one of our guys got rails for his truck, and he said it slipped right in, did great. Yeah, going to try that on this one.
Yeah, frame rails is not something that I had figured in for this truck, but when you start looking at this whole thing, all right, so we're going to redo the cab, right? We're going to redo the sleeper and change it into a flat glass. The engine, it's a 2WS with a 13 speed, and it's got 355 gear ratio or rear ratio on the rear end. It is a solid truck, that part of it. And so now we're basically almost starting over.
Yeah.
Essentially starting over with a brand new, or with another truck, building another truck. You know, we have all the components. It's just, you know, now we got lots of work to do. We were kind of planning on doing this project next winter, right?
Right. Yep.
So it would have been over the summertime, or like right now here soon. They're probably going to pull that other truck in, get the bunk off, get that cab worked on, also get the sleeper worked on.
Got to fit the big hole ring and everything into it and see what that all is going to take.
And then try to have all that done by, say, April. And then when we're busy in the summer, I would send it out to a paint shop and get that truck paint, or get the cabin, sleeper, and hood all painted, get the interior done. And then next year this time, have this rig where we could put it on the road, or put the frame rails in, put that cabin sleeper back on, and all that good stuff. So now, thankfully, we can still run this truck. Thankfully, we can still run the truck. We can still, you know, go up and down the road with it and make money. And it's still in alignment, right?
It is. It is not wearing tires or anything. So when they told me that frame rail was tweaked, I said, how can it be? We've aligned the truck. The thing's running down the road. It's not pulling left or right. It's not, you know, making any sudden jerks when you're on the brakes. He said it's all between the axles. It's between the front of the front axle, and it's behind the engine mounts in the front. He said so.
Yeah. And in all reality, frame rails are not that expensive. Where it gets expensive is if this was out in another shop, and we would have to pay the labor. So we're going to do it all in-house, and that's going to save us quite a bit. Anything else, Trevor?
Nope. I'm looking forward to seeing how long you let us stretch it.
We have this little debate. It's like I'm thinking shorter, they're thinking longer, and
yep.
So I don't know.
You already got the front end dropped down.
I know.
Get the whole long and low thing going here.
I know.
10 feet of frame in there.
I just don't want to twist it again.
Right.
Yeah, all part of it.
Yes.
All right, guys. And one other thing on the frame rails. Yes, we could just replace one frame rail, but the problem is just replacing one frame rail. It is not good to do that because you have a weak frame rail and a strong frame rail. So one that has almost 2 million miles on it, and then another one that is brand new, or that is new.
It doesn't help when the new one's 20 inches longer either.
Yeah. Right. Right. So it'll be interesting, and maybe you guys can help us out too with color combinations or a color what you would like to see this truck. This truck was plum. The color from factory is plum, and so we painted it plum again. So this is the second paint job, but I don't know. I didn't decide yet fully on what we're going to do for a paint job. So we will see. I have some ideas and I have some wants.
As long as it doesn't get any more purple.
No, it will not get any more purple. If anything, it'll get more blue.
Yep, that's what.
Yeah, but yeah, the goal is we're going to still keep running this truck and making money. Hopefully this thing keeps running for us and still in alignment. It's all good there. It's just that one frame rail is bad. So while we're doing all this work, we're going to replace the frame rails. So we got a big project coming up. Not an expected project, but sometimes, you know what? At the end of the day, it'll be like a brand new truck.
That's what we're going for.
One more thing is these calendars. We have got calendars in. So if you want a calendar, all you got to do is order some merch. And I will be shipping one of these calendars with every merch order. Got a lot of pretty trucks in there. So get yourself some merch, coffee mug, whatever, and I will send a calendar with. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.